Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. This is your friend Nisha. Today's recipe that I'm going to share with you all is a very simple recipe known as the famous Bengali recipe, which is called Shojna aloor chorchori, or you can call it potato drumstick sabji or potato drumstick sukha. There are so many names that you can give to it. So before I get into the recipe, I have a story to share. It reminds me back then when I was a little girl. I guess I was in ninth or 10th. Uh, I was not too much into cooking. Yes, of course, I would agree that I started cooking, showing passion towards cooking at a very young age. I guess when I was right at 3 or 4th grade. I started with preparing tea and then gradually started with cooking food. Back then when I was in ninth or 10th grade, I don't exactly remember. So it was somewhere around when I was in ninth or 10th grade. I was too much into studies as well as cooking. So I loved cooking. One of this well-known pandit, he belonged to my aunt's village. So he heard about me, and I used to visit that village to visit my aunt, and you know so he heard about me, and casually he just dropped in. All of a sudden, we didn't know about it, so he just visited, and I think it was a Sunday or summer vacations were going on. So back in my native, the time when summer vacation and all happens, that's the time when it rains heavily. I mean, it's rainy season, and then the place where we live, we don't have grocery stores or the vegetable stores nearby. So we didn't have stock at home, so it was very less of dry ration, and then few potatoes, and then I think 2 3 drumsticks which were almost dried up. So, and we used to pluck those green leafies from the garden because it was rainy season. So all those green leafy vegetables were available in the garden. So whenever we used to cook, so mom used to pluck those green leafies. So we used to prepare dal and sabzi or potato mash, something like that, and we were chal raha tha hamara din. But this particular day, I remember I was all of a sudden, this pandit, he appeared. So my mom was like she was, oh my god, I know him, he's from my your aunt's place, and he has visited for the first time, we have to cook something. And my mom was kind of, I guess she was doing the gardening work, and since it was rainy season, so she was a little messed up. So she asked me if I can take shower and start preparing meal. I said okay, cool. But what's there to cook? I just went to the kitchen and I saw, there is hardly anything that I can cook. I mean, for the family members, we can just manage with that, cook that and manage it. But you have a guest, guys. You have a guest at home, and you just can't cook something very basic and feed them or feed him. So then I was like, so what? Whatever we have, we will prepare something out of that, and that's what we can offer, right? And I remember my dad was not at home. If he was at home, we would have definitely asked him to go and get something. But dad was not at home. So I just told my mom that अच्छा ठीक है, अरहर का दाल है, so मैं वो दाल अच्छा बनाती हूँ, मैं वो बना लूँगी, and I can see some drumsticks and potato. So make a note, guys, तब मुझे I didn't know about drumstick aloo chorchori, and that recipe I was not aware of. I just out of the blue said that ये दो है, इसका मैं एक सब्जी बना लूँगी. And I have seen you have soaked mustard, like during rainy seasons, we used to eat a lot of mustard chutney. So my mom, she had soaked mustard seeds overnight. So I saw that, and I told her that I've seen that. So why don't you just show me how to make a paste out of it? I think our mixer grinder was not working, so she told me that and that we I don't know, the mortar pestle, I exactly don't know what we call it. So Hindi mein we call it patha. So she said, pathe mein will you be able to make a paste? I said, okay, I can do anything. So I said, okay, fine. You just give me 1 hour's time and let me see what best I can do. So I just quickly took shower and got into the kitchen, and then started preparing dal, and then started chopping the potatoes and drumstick, and then made mustard paste. And then I first time I discovered it. You could say that I discovered it. Back then many people, since it's a Bengali famous recipe, so many people knew about it, but since I never had it, so I didn't know about that recipe. So it was kind of like, I discovered that recipe. So I prepared that, and then we had some extra potatoes, so I made potato mash with that, with some dry chilies, dry red chilies, and mustard oil. And since he was a pandit, so he will eat all pure veg, so no onion, no garlic, nothing. We did have onion at home, so but I could not use that, so I just made 3 dishes, one dal, one potato mash with dry chilies, and then this aloo Shojna chorchori or drumstick potato sabji. My mom, she just grabbed some fresh green leafies, and we in our language we call it chinchu. It's kind of salad, but you chop them in tiny little pieces, and then dry roast the chana, and then grind it and pour it all over. It's like very tasty dish. So in villages we eat a lot, so that particular dish. So I think we made that one, and then side by one, I think one dry roast papad I made, and I served it to him. I was like, my heart was beating so fast because see, usually when I was small, I used to cook, so I used to just taste and see if salt and all is perfect. But since he was a pandit, so I cannot do that. Everything has to be, should. You know what I'm trying to say here? I just served him like that, and he just washed his hand and he sat down. He said his prayers, and he started mixing up the curry and rice, and he took the first bite, and he just looked at me. I was like, I don't know anything. I was so scared. I just ran into the kitchen, and I was just kind of hiding. He continued eating. One by one, he tasted everything. And after that, I was like so scared, since everything was so less, what if he would want some extra? I prepared for everybody. Now if he would want some extra, I will have to give him, and then maybe it won't be sufficient for the rest of the family. I was a kid, so all those random thoughts were coming in my mind. He finished his meal, and then he washed his hand, and he just said one thing, that I agreed. This girl has magic. Oh my god. This girl has magic. Satisfied. I have never tasted such tasty veg food before. I'm like, he would have definitely. Maybe I was a kid and I prepared it for him. So he said that to make me feel good and make me feel happy. That could also be the scenario. But the way he said, I could see in his eyes that he was satisfied. He was so happy with all the dishes that I managed. I'm like, that gave me so much of happiness. I was like, first time on seventh heaven. It was like, when somebody appreciates your work, you're just, I can't express, I'm still getting that vibe, so since that day onwards, since I felt like I discovered this recipe, so since that day onwards, this recipe became one of my favorite. So but I used to cook that with oil. Now since I am on oil-free diet now, today I am going to try it without oil. So all the other process is gonna be similar, but I'm going to try it without oil. So hang on with me, because I'm sure you are going to love this. So yeah, I wanted to say this. When someone appreciates your work, you just carry on with that. You try to do more. So this is something that has boosted me a lot. I'm not saying that everyone should appreciate all the work that I do. But yes, when you appreciate someone, ah, that is altogether a different feeling because that motivates you to do more, you know. All right, too much of buck, right? Can't help it. I love talking to you guys. So, yeah, so let's get started with aloo shojna chorchori. So today we are going to try it out without oil. So let's get started. I'm going to show you the ingredients that I will be taking to prepare this dish. So let's get started. Alright guys, so these are the ingredients. So we have got our drumsticks, potatoes. Do not peel off the entire skin of the drumstick, वरना वो पूरी तरह गल जाएगा. So just roughly peel it. Then we have our mustard, coriander, chili and ginger paste. And our usuals, the coconut tomato paste. So these are the ingredients, the minimum ingredients that we would be using to make our chorchori. And then the usual spices, turmeric, cumin, black pepper and salt to taste. So let's get started. Remember, we are not going to use any oil. So once you pour it in, just add a glass of water. Let it boil. So once it boils, we are going to add the spices in it and salt to taste. Okay. So, now the water has started boiling, so you can start adding the masalas. So first I'll be adding some turmeric in it and some cumin powder, black pepper powder, and now salt to taste. So I'll be adding just a spoon of salt. Just give it a nice mix and cover it to cook. Leave the flame to medium. That's it. It should take 5 more minutes to boil properly, and then we will add the rest of the ingredients. So see you after 5 minutes. Alright, so it's been 5 minutes now, so let's just remove the lid. Stir it and check. I think now is the right time to add the mustard paste that we made. So just pour it all in. Stir it properly. It already smells so good. So leaving the flame to medium, and I leave it covered to cook properly. Remember, we have to make it dry, chorchori. So we will wait until the entire water evaporates from this, and then we'll add the coconut tomato paste. So let it dry. Leave the flame to medium, otherwise it will burn. So we'll see you in a while. Alright, looks like the water has evaporated. Ouch! Yeah. Can you cut and see if the potato is cooked? Perfect. Potato has cooked, water has evaporated. I think now is the good time to add in our coconut paste, coconut tomato paste. So I think this would be too much, so we will not add all. So we will just add half of it. Perfect. Stir it well. It smells so good. Okay, so I think that's it. Awesome. So now we can just leave it covered. Turn off the gas. That's it. In another 5 to 10 minutes you can serve it hot. So this was the recipe of Shojna aloor chorchori. I hope you all would try this recipe and would love it. Alright guys, so that was the simple drumstick potato sabji recipe. Let me tell you, it's of course it's a Bengali famous recipe, but I didn't cook it in a traditional Bengali way. This was my way of making aloo drumstick, chorchori recipe. So do try it and let me know if you like this recipe without oil, and do let me know if you like the story that I narrated to you all. I was really touched narrating it to you all. So I will see you in my next video. Until then, you take care of yourself and hit that like button if you like this recipe, and comment and let me know if any suggestions. Subscribe to my channel if you are new to this channel. Let this family grow. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye. Take care.